In the previous video, how to fix ATV spacers that don't fit, I machined the hub-centric rings off the front. If you haven't seen that video, click the card in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. For those that have, let's get into the video.
Are we going to clean up the area on the inside, or you just want to turn on and go before you remove it? Why are you looking at me? Are we going to clean up the area on the inside, or you just want to turn on and go before you remove it? Why are you looking at me?
So I already did this, but I would recommend before you start any of the machining process, you actually just do one hub, get it to fit, and check it on both front and rear wheels to make sure that you're not going to have any clearancing issues, mainly with the plastics or any type of rubbing or anything like that. So I already did this, but next section we're going to get into removing and installing all the hubs. Alright, yeah, we just got back from a swampy ride 2 weeks ago, and my machine is still, even after cleaning it, as dirty as all get out. But what I would recommend, I've already done that to this side, but hit it with a wire brush, clean these hubs off. We're going to use some sort of blue thread locker because I don't want to require heat to be able to get them off, so we're going to use blue type. Just going to hit that on there. Slap the hubs, and I have to use a thin wall socket in order to get that in here. So let's go ahead and get that rolling. So the other thing that's important too is we want to use recommended manufacturer torque specifications on the nuts, because we don't want to stretch these by having them too tight. We also want to use our torque wrench so that we don't torque one at 60 foot-pounds, the other at 70, and the other one at 30. Basically what that tends to do, not in this case, but in vehicles, because the studs are usually mounted right where the rotors are, that'll cause uneven pressures between the rotors, and then you got premature warping of the rotors, which is not good. But I don't want my wheels to fall off, so I'm going to Loctite them and torque them to proper specs. I will add, this stuff comes out really fast. I like to thread all mine on by hand so that everything's centered properly, and then come back and torque them later. Probably wondering, well, other than the obvious that I can't get my fingers in between the holes, why am I using an extension and a ratchet? I do this even on all my lug nuts, because if you turn enough lug nuts in a day, even though the ends are kind of smooth, the corners, they rip your fingers apart. So this is my lazy way of holding the front brake in so that I don't have to ask somebody to come help. I can just go torque the other side. Okay, as far as torquing goes, looks like we got the gap out of these, and they're all straight now. I went through and did 25 all the way around, and then this final torque, doing 50 on each, 47, it's 50, and looks like we're good. So the stud's straightened out, there's no gaps, everything seems to be in order. We don't have any clearancing issues, not going to hit anything on the plastics. The front ends on these are pretty tall, so they can run really big tires. I'm not going to trust these wheel spacers because I've never had any yet, so I'll probably torque them and check them a couple of times. But let me go ahead and do the other three, and we'll check back and see what it looks like. So one of the studs I hit and screwed it up a little bit when I was pounding it out, but luckily I have a tap and die set, which some of you may or may not have. Yeah, we're just going to try and fix this. Actually, we're going to and ever so conveniently they stamped 10 by 1.25 on here, so I know exactly which size to grab. Which 10 by 1.25. Yep. I can really appreciate all of you guys that have been doing this for years and having a camera in your way when trying to film and do things. It's not easy. So, for the most part, tap went on really easy. Obviously you can't use a standard tap tool because it's going to hit the studs, but got this through. One of the other things that I've done in the past too, without ever really needing a tap set unless it's really messed up, is I'll take a dental pick. I've got some mechanics dental picks, and I'll just start in on one of these threads and I'll trace it all the way around coming out. And sometimes there's crud or there's metal in the valleys, and you pick that out, and that's enough to be able to use the nut to get it back on. But yep, so I'll just continue on with this. I think we're far enough along where I don't have to worry about, I mean, the lug nut's only going to go on so far, so back this Hummer out. And you should probably oil when you're doing this. But what you're supposed to do and what actually happens, we all know how that goes. Looks like the tap did a pretty decent job. Let's see if the lug nut fits now. I did run the tap through this lug nut as well, because this is the bugger that was on there. And yeah, looks like it's going to be good. Get the wheels on.
Here's the final review of the 1.5" spacers installed. As you can see, the tires stick out past the fenders approximately 1.5 inches, thus making the machine 3 inches wider. Me personally, I'm interested in making this machine more stable since adding the 28-inch tires. The spacers also add to the look of the machine, makes it look pretty sweet. The video started because I didn't want to spend the $10 to return these and have to pay another $60 to get the ones that would fit with no modification. Would I order these for my other Honda and go through the same process? Probably not. Reason being is the aluminum shavings are still everywhere even after sweeping and vacuuming. Hope this video helps you out. Thanks for watching.